Hey everyone, today we're getting into that review for the GoPro Fusion, and with that, I'm just going to quickly jump in. We're going to start by doing this. Oh, hold on. We're going to start the review off by just at least. Right. We're going to try talking first. Now we're going to start off by listing the features the the two cameras. You know what I mean, the camera, but really it's basically two cameras in one. Off. And we're going to start off by, we already know this, it does 360 video and cap the son of a bitch. Try this again. We're going to start off by listing the features. I think this is how I'm going to start this review. And the reason why I think that's just, let's get the complicated stuff, boring, well, technical stuff out of the way first. So we're going to start by telling you that it's a 360 video camera with photo 360 capabilities. Obviously, we already know this. We wouldn't be looking at this if you didn't know that. But what you didn't know, and I didn't know this even when I purchased the camera, that it has two CMOS. So each lens itself has a CMOS sensor, which is great. That means they're independent from each other. They're not requiring one chip to do the same. That makes sense in the way everything works with that camera and everything I've experienced working with this camera. Now, it has advanced stabilization, which is one of the best at this current time in the industry, as far as these small or handheld, 360 cameras go. Like, for example, this little guy that I have here that I got with my phone is horrible as far as stabilization goes. It's really shaky, and probably if I were to actually use it in stuff to have it to stabilize it, would be quite a bit of work. Alright, so moving on. Another neat little feature is the overcapture. Now keep in mind with the overcapture, it only currently works with the iOS phones, maybe the tablets. Problem is that software doesn't have the Android software isn't there yet. I'm sure GoPro is working on it and it will be there eventually, but it's not there yet. It is water resistant to up to 16 feet, and as you'll see that I've taken it into the water and splashed around, and it's so far I was fairly gentle with it for the most part, but it seems to be working really well. Excuse me. Let's see. The next feature that's listed is voice command. I haven't tried this feature yet. I don't quite sure or understand how to get that to work or where to find how the commands work. Then again, that's not important to me, but I actually forgot that it had this, and it's something I will be looking into the future, because if that does work, and that does work, and does have the functionality, I do believe that that's going to benefit me with the fact that it doesn't have a timer. And that's one issue I do have with it, is the fact that it does not have a timer. Um, Voice command may be a nice little feature that nobody's talking about, but I haven't seen it implemented anywhere, and I haven't seen how to get it to work. But then again, I haven't really dug into the manual yet to find out more about that feature. Alright, moving on. We got built-in GPS. You know what? This is convenient. Having GPS built into it is actually convenient. I have one other camera. It's nice to have that extra information in the metadata, because it's going to allow you to actually pinpoint those locations without having to deal with it yourself. And I do find having that data very useful when you're working in something like Lightroom or something, where it may be important to know where you took that picture, especially when you're organizing and trying to keep track of things. Blech, that's what I'm trying to say. Alright, anyways, moving on. What I didn't realize also is that, because they're not really advertising some of these features, but they are features, is fast charging through the camera. So using your USB-C and using like the 2.5 volt or whatever it is, USB ports, you can get some fast charging out of that. That's kind of a nice thing. And I know this because my phone has it, and it's really useful when you just need a quick charge and to get things up and running quickly. So that's a definite positive. Now I knew this. It's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi communication ready, and that does work. It works nicely. When it works over the phone, when you connect your phone to it, it's actually using the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi will allow for more advanced tasks like downloading imageries, videos, along with controlling and viewing what the camera can show you. So that's definitely a very nice, convenient, and it's very easy to do with the software. Um, so that's good. Fast data transfer speeds. Yeah, no, it's gonna be it's a 5 gig, so it's an AC 5 gigahertz band that the wireless transmitting. So that's, to me, is all part of the same thing. If it was transmitting over Bluetooth, it'd be a lot slower, but because it uses the Wi-Fi communication to do all the transferring, it is actually fairly fast, and it is using the 5 gigahertz range. So yeah, you're getting the same speeds as an AC wireless router would be. And last but not least is the USB Type C interface. That's a definite plus. That means it's somewhat future-proof to some extent. It's allowing you to, as your computer goes to the next generation, which will be utilizing the USB-C standard, that means your transfer rate over USB will be very quick. Alright, we're going to move on at this point, and we'll be talking about Alright, let's get into what my thoughts on this camera. I do like the picture quality. I really do. The daylight time, everything's crisp, clean. Viewing on the phone looks fuzzy and blurry and not so great. Well, that's because even in all their instructions, what you're seeing on your phone is a low-res version of what the end result is. So it's gonna be blurry and fuzzy, but when you see the raw data and everything else, it's clear, clean. Oh, speaking of raw data, this records in RAW, which is really a nice thing. Unfortunately, there's only one piece of software that's able to read their RAW format, and that is obviously GoPro's. Now, that's a little unfortunate, and I hope in the future that more software will be able to support that format and be able to utilize it, because working in RAW is one of my favorite things as far as formats go. When I take photos using a DSLR, I am always using RAW rather than a JPEG or a TIFF format because it allows you to have the most data. It's also the biggest file format possible, but that gives you the most data to work with, which allows you to do a lot more control, or give you a lot more control over that imagery. Now, let's continue talking about the software a little bit, because this isn't about software right now. We're just more focused on the hardware. Unfortunately, the software is lacking in a lot of the features that really should be there that isn't yet. But I am hoping GoPro is going to be updating this soon and offering more features that really should be there, especially when it comes to generating, say, little planets and things of that nature, which a lot of people are doing with these 360 cameras at this point. And now that that's out of the way, we'll continue on about the software. I am going to recommend that if you have a slow computer, that you upgrade your computer to something definitely today's standard for a workstation class or better, because it's going to require that kind of power to quickly process your work. Don't get me wrong, it will process and render through a couple-year-old computer like the one that I'm working on here, but with that said, it's painful. And the software is a little iffy because of that. One thing I've noticed to stabilize it, they have it set up weird where it kind of sits in this weird state, but if you start adjusting the window size, it actually fixes that problem, and it renders a little bit better. It's not any faster, but it does render better and seems to be a little bit more stable once you get it out of that weird format. Um, I'll show you that in another video in the future. I don't know when that'll be though. Alright, with that said, as you can see, I've got the camera in the water. It is a gorgeous day out, and you're more than welcome to look around because this is a 360 video. I mean, after all, we're messing with 360 cameras. This review might as well be in a 360 camera view. I think that's a benefit that a lot of these other guys reviewing these cameras aren't doing for you, and I wish more of them would. So let's moving on. As far as the night quality, it's one of the better ones I've seen, but it's still not perfect. It's no DSLR. It's equivalent to like I don't know, like one of those handhelds, but it's actually a little better than one of those. All right. As far as noise goes at night, it's not too bad. I'll have a few night shots towards the end of this video. You'll see a little fire dance guy, and you'll see how everything's blown out where you should have orange and stuff in there. Now keep in mind, I have not messed with this video at all. I'm not going to adjust any of the coloration, so this is raw color that's coming right off the camera that you're seeing. No color manipulation, no nothing. And I'll even let you guys listen to some of the noises that the mics make or pick up. So that'll be helpful to you guys as well. So we'll listen to that, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about the pros and cons. All right.